Gentlemen of the jury, as you can see, I just arrived in this area, and you hear that? That siren. That's the ambulance, see? Right there, but that is actually the police. This is what they're doing, and this is the same spot where I recorded several videos where the officer followed me over here, and he was actually parked up just over here. I don't know if you recall, I posted a video. I think it was one of the first videos that I posted. This was this very same plaza where the police officer came onto and was sitting on the other side, the other side of the Tim Hortons, right? And so you notice I just passed a police car earlier, right, with the sirens on for no reason. And like I said before in some of my videos, that the ambulances are now involved. The ambulance workers and the city workers are involved in this um, this police stalking and harassment, right? Now, you might ask, or someone may ask, well, how does the ambulance involve in police? Well, they're out here. They're out here and they're a part of the same system, right? And like I said, I noticed that the police, this has been happening for quite some time. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, if you look and review, I will see if I find the video and show you where I first spoke about where the police is now, um, what would I say? They're incorporating their tactics, right? And like I said, this is what they're doing now. They're getting city workers involved, right? And they're getting these ambulance workers involved, and this is what's going on. So this is why you find that when I just arrived here just now at the Tim Hortons location, and we see that the ambulance just drove by with its siren on, and it only did it while it was in front of the Tim Hortons. And as soon as they got out of earshot, we see that the sirens went off. Now, this is what has been happening, ladies and gentlemen. The same thing happened with the fire truck. This is not a coincidence, right? How is it that as soon as I arrive in this area that the ambulances are showing up? Same thing. When I got out back there, I made a left onto that street. The first thing I encountered was an ambulance. And this is after I just left my last location. The very first city vehicle I ran into was an ambulance coming towards my direction from the ambulance station. Right? So again, I don't believe in coincidences. It's not a coincidence that I keep running into these ambulances and these fire trucks every second, right? And as soon as I get to my destination or places where I usually go and drink my coffee and hang out and so on and so forth, this is when they are actually showing up there at that particular moment, right? So again, this is not a coincidence. The city ambulance services and the city workers, right, like these parks and recs workers and these guys, they're all involved. These guys that drive the city vehicles, they're all involved in this police tracking and surveillance. Why? Because they're a close-knit community. They're a close-knitted government community. And so therefore, even though what their colleagues are doing is unlawful, well, again, we cannot go against the community. You understand? So what we have now is a mob mentality at work out here, right? Which is the police inciting other city workers and public servants, which includes their colleagues, to now join this this public harassment complaint, if you may, or this public embarrassment complaint. Because if the police keep showing up everywhere you go, right, and these things, that is very embarrassing, my friend. What are you trying to imply here? That I am a crook? I am a criminal? I am a thief? What? You understand? So in every sense, if the police keeps showing up and circling you every time you understand, it's never a good sign. So at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, the police have been now operating or have been operating through these ambulances, right? And I believe I made statements to this effect in one of my complaints that I made to LACA, which is the law enforcement agency uh, uh, um, for police, right? The law enforcement complaint agency, LECA, short and form, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, right, we see that the state, an arm of the state, because I don't think a police officer by himself can just decide that he's going to launch this campaign at one. No, it's a group of them. It's an entire community of them. You understand? They have people all over. They have people here, people there. Everywhere you go, they have their assets. All right? So, at the end of the day, what we have here is just the state being a tyrant. That's what this is. This is a state being tyrannical because, again, right? I am out here. I am not harming anyone. I am not stealing anyone. I am not damaging any property. I am not committing any wrongs whatsoever. I cares not about your traffic laws and rules. It does not apply to me. You understand? You and I both know that your quote unquote traffic, highway traffic act does not apply to me. You understand? It applies to your legal fictions, right? And your subjects, which are your subjects. You understand? I am not a legal fiction. I'm not a fiction. I'm a real flesh and blood entity, or what you call it, biological machine. That is what I am. I am biology. Bio. You get it? Yeah. Bio. My biome. You understand? So your date of birth, it does not apply to me. It applies to that legal fiction. Right? Your year of birth and all of that stuff, it has nothing to do with me, my friend. That's somebody else's timeline. That's somebody else's what's the word I'm looking for? That's somebody else's artistic work, for lack of better words. Somebody else decided to create that timeline and it belongs to them. I do not subscribe to your timeline. Hmm? This is what you've done. You've forced us to conform, or you're attempting to force us to conform to what you want. You understand? So what? I am out here as a road user. I am not trafficking anything by road, and so therefore your traffic law does not apply. And I can prove this. The very international document that you signed uses the term, what? International traffic. Nevertheless, you have no absolute authority here. Your authority over here is not absolute, it's limited. You are a de facto, fictional de facto entity. That's what you are. That's it. what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, my friend, it makes absolutely no sense when I see you guys running up and down out here as if um, I'm not certain what is it that you're trying to achieve, right? Nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, I am here. I am on the very same plaza where I made several previous videos which I posted on my channel, right? This is one of the areas where the police know that I frequent, right? And so again, I am here. I am waiting to see how long it will take them to show up here again. Huh? Well, they've already showed up because on my way here I passed them, and that is through them tracking my phone. It's not a coincidence that every time I leave a location, I run into these guys. Every time I'm on the move, I run into these guys. Yeah? It's not a coincidence, bro. I don't believe in coincidence. Nevertheless, the saga continues, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, a public jury. Time is now 8:44 p.m. Wednesday, September 17, 2025.